It says we're live. Hello, everybody. Um, I don't know why my phone always takes time for it to go through. How y'all
Yeah.
doing? I'm
Hey,
scooting
what's going
over.
on?
Jan and I are here tonight to talk about TERFs and trans rights,
Yes,
which
TERFs and trans rights.
which we said we were going to do last week. We mentioned it that we were going to do that this week. So here we are. And hopefully everyone can see us and hear us okay. I see a bunch of people in there. We're going to hop in and say hi. Uh, but we have been talking this week several times about this topic that we both
Yes.
feel very, very strongly about. And we are going to get right to that with the definition first, and then talk about their logic, and then talk about how this affects,
Real people.
yes, real people, and and why it's important. So
Yeah.
let's just go in and say hi to people.
Yeah, we'll wait just a little bit to allow people some time to come in, because we know that not all people get the notification right away that we're live. So we'll just wait a little bit, say hello to everybody,
Yeah,
and sort of just reiterate and repeat what we're gonna do up until we actually start. So
yeah, and there's a bunch of people in here. I see, as far as I know, Paul Cherry got the first comment. Jeannie Bottle, hi,
I see
and
Velvet Tears.
hi
Hi.
Nevea, hi Laura, hi,
Zero.
yep, Hope, Storm.
Cassidy.
Oh, that's nice. Cassidy came. Mistress Angelica,
Laura.
Perry,
Sean.
Tyler.
Jewel in the house, our moderator. Thank you so
Yes,
much, Jewel, for coming and keeping our chat room safe. Jewel is such a fantabulous creator.
fantabulous.
It's so true. Fantabulous creator and writer. And right now I'm working with some of Jewel's scripts to present them, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm so passionate about nailing them just how Jewel would like. So I'm so happy to do that.
Jewel, yeah, Jewel is modding for us, and Philip has to work. So he would be here, but he is working this week and next week. I believe, unless something comes up and we change to a different topic, I believe next week we are going to be talking about the whole course and maybe some other things. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's when Philip is rotating. He has three
He's a
weeks where he
working
can
boy.
yeah, and one weekend a month he has to work. So hi Sean. Hi. Did I see Ven? Is Ven in here? Hi MC. Hi Cassidy. I thought I saw Ven. Hi Zero. I think Zero said that they are busy and will be listening mostly.
You know, the
Hi
the
Perry.
lovely the lovely thing about the live streams we do is it's always listener friendly, I feel. I mean, there might be some details that like you might need to look at, but you can always go back and rewatch the replay. Like it's always available for people who can't make the actual lives.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I know we get comments from people because I see the comments saying, I'm sorry I missed it and I caught the replay. Hi Kim.
Hmm.
So, did I say hi Perry? Hi Perry. Hi Roberta. Hi Michelle. Let me see. Yeah, Laura. Laura wants a whole 2.0 and
2.0.
2.0. Yeah, and we'll work on it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no worries, Kim. Hi, Susan's cat. Um, yeah, I sent Cassidy a picture of one of our cats who's yeah, yeah, she
Cute.
was lounging around, and I took a photo and sent it to Cassidy. And she's not in here though. She's doing something else. Um, so oh, Michelle, you can't find what? Something of ours? Um, I think. Oh, is Hyperion Frequency in here? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I hope we didn't miss anybody. Um,
No, like I always say, if we repeat to you, pretend it's new. And if we miss
please.
you,
Yeah.
just Give a
holler
little
at
wave,
us.
a little
Yeah, just
wave, like, hey, you missed me. Just a little
yeah,
wave.
absolutely, because it's a lot of comments to go through. Um, so let's start. Oh,
Yeah, please.
one thing though. There's Hyperion frequency. One thing though, and I know you'll be happy about this. This isn't something that I have talked about before, but I just happened to see it on Instagram, and I know you know because you've done videos on Andrew Tate, but I saw it come
Oh,
through from a bunch of people that he got banned
yeah, I
from.
am an Andrew Tate expert. I am confident enough to say that. I am an absolute Andrew Tate expert. That's not something to be proud of exactly, but I know
No,
so much about Andrew Tate at this point. It's like I got his shadow nailed, like pinning a tail to a donkey, like the game.
I, I
So,
didn't
like,
know about him until you mentioned it. I stay away from a lot of stuff like that, and
it's insane.
I was really shocked. Yeah, really
He
shocked.
is the whole manifestation of just like toxic masculinity, and
Absolutely.
I don't mean that in like the woke like liberal way. I mean he really truly is
Oh,
like
yeah,
toxic
and
masculinity embodied, like
actually,
personified.
the danger of it too. It's not something that you can just say, "Oh, let someone have freedom of speech." There's actual serious repercussions from allowing that. Just listening to teachers talking,
Oh, you saw that.
I did. I saw comments where they seeing an actual change in kids' behavior based on watching
Mm-hmm.
him and speaking back to people I don't want to listen
Like
to.
junior high level.
Yeah, yeah, saying things like, "I don't want to take direction from you. You're a woman. I don't
And
want to."
telling all the girls to shut up
Yeah, yeah,
and
your
yeah.
place is to be quiet, and it women are our
Woo.
property, and it's
Yeah.
really gross. It's
Yeah,
not just somebody.
when I covered Andrew Tate, I specifically said my worry here is that he's influencing young men, and
Absolutely.
I didn't mean that metaphorically. I didn't mean that in any like sort of whimsical way. I meant that literally.
Yeah,
He literally is
yeah.
influencing young men to think this way. And if we have a new generation of men thinking this way about women,
It's
dehumanizing women, we're in trouble.
it's so
Hello.
much more we have to battle then.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So having deplatforming him, while I'm of mixed feelings about the cancel culture thing,
Well,
I think that's
nobody's
a
I
complicated.
can't just in a nutshell, because I we're not going to get into cancel culture right
No,
now, but just in a nutshell, let me say about cancel culture, I don't believe in it because nobody's actually canceled until they agree to give up. And Andrew Tate still has a platform somewhere.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's it.
yeah, and I mean
That's
that's a
my
good point,
overall blanket view on cancel culture.
but taking platforms where he can spew that kind of um, language, not language, but just that his whole ideology, uh,
Rhetoric and all
and
that bullshit.
influence, yeah, and having that kind of influence is where it's you know the changes are happening in the real world and people are noticing it. I have no sympathy for that at all. So anyway, I just wanted to
Yeah.
say that because it was something I had noticed
Yeah,
happening a
no, thank you
lot.
for bringing that up because it's like I did seriously like three live streams in a row covering Andrew Tate, and I'm like, okay, I felt sad for my followers. Like, let's take a break. But now it's like coming up again, so now I'm like gearing up. Like, I think I want to do a follow up and like cover that because it's
Yeah.
he's a really interesting phenomena. I hate to admit that he's popular, but he's popular for a reason because he really is the personification of a lot of things, a lot of broken systems that
Hmm.
we're fighting against in this world.
Yeah. Um, so anyway, I'm sorry, I was distracted. I shouldn't always be looking at comments, but um, I just saw Velvet said he is an idiot. Yeah.
He is, yeah. Oh, I
Um,
see MC Heavy said, hey, what's up?
yeah, I said hi to MC earlier.
Okay.
Um,
Did we say hi to Hope and Perry
yep, yep,
and
yep.
all these beautiful people? Oh, and please like the live stream if you haven't, and share the live stream as well, because this is a subject we're very passionate about.
Yeah, and I guess, MC said, what did Andrew Tate say? I don't watch news, listen to music. Um, uh, it's a huge topic, but as Jan said, very, very toxic masculinity and really having a powerful influence on young men.
And
Like I said,
it always trips me out that Jordan Peterson's daughter dated Andrew Tate.
okay, I did not know. I don't know a lot. As I said
There's
earlier, I
some
only
tea.
yeah,
There's some
well,
tea. There's some deep ass tea, okay?
yeah, that says a lot right there. I didn't know that. I don't follow a lot of this stuff. Honestly, I only found out about him because of Jan, and I was really shocked. I was like, wow, this is actually
Well,
happening out there.
yeah, I admit I'm into some really bizarre bits of information about like weird pop culture, but what I find within them is people and like really fucked up ideologies and the power they have and the influence they have over other people. So it's like on the one hand it's like I don't want to see this shit. I know it's not important, but on the other hand, this is the front lines of the battle
Well, it's
so
it's
often for where
yeah.
people receive their information, where people who don't think past the obvious receive their information.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between, like celebrity gossipy stuff. I really hate that. I don't look into all of that. That whole area. I really don't follow any of that.
Yeah.
And none of that matters if it doesn't have an
Well,
influence. What
hey,
matters is when you start influencing.
yeah, there's a difference between like what shoes designer shoes are celebrities wearing and did they get divorced? I don't care about that stuff.
No.
But when celebrities are like, "Hey, I'm selling this program where I'm giving you advice for your life and you can pay this much amount of money and then you get this like access to my sort of insight." Like, I'm a little curious there. That's a little sus. So yeah, that's where I'm like, I want to know the tea. I want to know the gossip. I want to know what's
Yeah.
going on in this celebrity's head.
Well, I think what it boils down to is what kind of influence you're having. If you're just talking about fashion or things that are completely so trivial, things I have no interest in, um, fine. But if you're actually influencing how people behave, then it becomes an issue.
Yeah,
If you're making
huge issue.
and the kind of changes that he was, affecting, I think we're serious. So I'm looking at Jeannie's comment. Yeah, they are and can be actually quite blatant on the subject, and surprises me the hate is allowed to be broadcast. Well, you know, yeah, at a certain point, when it becomes dangerous like that, they just deplatformed him. Yeah, Jordan MC, yeah, Jordan Peterson. Oh, that's another one. Well, anyway, let's get on to our topic because it's already, oh, wow, is it
Yes.
already? Okay. So I know that last week Laura had said, what's a TERF? And I didn't know what a TERF was until a few years ago. I found out on one of ContraPoint's videos. I think it's three
Yeah.
years. I think it's a 3-year-old video by now. Uh, and actually, we should put some good links in. I'll add some links later to here.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
please at least link the
Jesse Gender.
Jesse Gender What is a Turf video
Yeah,
because she did so fucking fabulous on that shit. Like
yeah.
it's the best video ever.
There are some there's some really good information in that one, and I highly recommend, even if you sort of skip through parts of it, but that you go toward the end and look at one of the segments, which is just where Jesse describes the aftermath of filming all of the main segments, and it's just a very personal, um, discussion
It
about.
affects her to even make the videos
Yeah,
about the
yeah, that's the
subject, and
area,
she
that's
gets
the
into that.
segment, and it was really powerful to watch that. If you are somebody who, you know, don't hasn't really thought about a trans people at all, it's not a subject that comes into your life at all, doesn't affect you because maybe you don't know anybody who's trans or haven't thought about it, whatever. this is a very powerful, that segment is very powerful, but I highly recommend watching the whole thing. Natalie ContraPoints also did a really good, that the video that I just mentioned, I saw it like 3 years ago. It was very good. And
Yeah, I was
uh
gonna say at the end of this live stream before we go, I would like to recommend one of my top three favorite YouTubers, and all three of these people are trans women, beautiful women, very intelligent.
Abigail's the third, Philosophy Tube, right?
Philosophy Tube, ContraPoints, and Jessie Gender.
Yeah,
Not necessarily in that order, just
they're
like
all
these
great.
are like a trifecta of divinity of just like beautiful intellectual women.
Content also delivered in fantastic top quality ways,
Mm-hmm.
with humor, with um you
Yes,
know
he the humor,
drama.
the
Yeah,
humor, drama,
yeah,
costume, and lighting. These women are just so fucking creative. It's just mwah. Like, so we'll recommend these
yeah.
three
Laura,
trans women at the end.
yeah, well, actually, Laura just said, can we put links in? I'll try to grab them and put them in, maybe when Jan is talking. Um, so
Yeah.
we're just going to start with the definition again, in case you don't know or forgot. Uh,
Yeah, Susan, do you want to just like present each little segment and then I'll just kind of give some commentary and we'll
yeah,
bounce off each
absolutely.
other a bit?
Yeah, you're gonna do whole um,
My thing.
you're gonna do whole segments. Yeah,
I'm gonna do my thing.
you're gonna do your thing.
Yeah,
So,
so
but
I'm not gonna dive into this, but just so you all know, going into this, I am non-binary trans. So I'm not sort of A to B trans. I am non-binary trans, but I am still trans nonetheless.
and at some point, don't forget, we're gonna talk about some of your experiences, some of your thoughts.
Yeah. So
And
yeah, please ask me anything. I'm an open book.
yeah, and I am a trans ally, I guess it would be called.
Yeah, cis
I,
woman trans
yep,
LA.
I just really, really feel so strongly about. There's something about people having to not be themselves in public that really gets to me, and I think that's what somehow I relate. Not that I don't do that. It's just the thought of that, the thought of hiding yourself away and not being able to be who you are, how you feel inside is so awful to me. It's like almost suffocating. So it's just something that I really I just really feel strongly about. So a TERF is it's TERF, and it's a trans-exclusionary radical feminist. And uh, J.K. Rowling is like the one who kind of started
That's
this in a
the
way, even though it's been around much longer.
No, she didn't start it. I
Well,
just think that she's recently been highlighted as a
yes,
big representative of TERFs, trans exclusionary radical feminists. So
yeah,
I think she's really brought it to light, which is unfortunate
I
because like
know.
I've been a big Harry Potter fan and I was a fan of J.K. Rowling. So like
Yeah,
there's a whole nother level I had to go through where it's like, do I even like this woman anymore? I don't think so.
I,
No.
I, I. This is an aside um, of how to deal with when this kind of thing happens, when somebody who you really liked their work, turns out to be a not so great person. What do you do with it? This is a completely, I'm going down another little path right now,
Oh,
but
I've
this,
done an episode of Mindful Monad about this
oh, did
exactly.
you? Well, my quick thing on it is it really bothers me when somebody absolutely adores someone's work, and then they turn that person, the artist or whoever, turns out to be not so great a person, and the person who liked their work says, I hate so and so's stuff. I remember that this specifically happened with somebody I know who, after Mel Gibson turned out to be really kind of icky, they said, oh, Mel Gibson, I just don't, he doesn't have any talent. And I said, he does. He still has talent.
Yeah.
Everything that he did, if you liked the stuff he did before, I mean, if you didn't, that then nothing about you changed. But if you liked his work, and appreciated and thought that he was talented and everything, none of those things have changed. all you've done is discover that he's not a great person. And you can
Yeah.
hold both of those things in you. You can say, I do not like this person as a person. However, can I can appreciate the talent that they have in doing whatever they did. And you can say things like, and it's very unfortunate that I, somebody who is like that produces these things that are good, but I find it really personally annoying when someone completely flip-flops their their opinion as though what was true before is no longer true just because the person changed. Your opinion of the person is the thing that changed. I hope I made that clear. Anyway, oh, is it? Yeah, yes, Paul, perfect. Kevin Spacey. Yeah, really good example there. So I just find it very weird when people don't understand that you can still you can still appreciate someone's talent. It doesn't change those things. It's simply that you are now recognizing that you aren't a fan of the person
Yeah.
anymore. So anyway, I'm sorry I took us off track
No,
there,
no, no,
but
no, but that is kind of on track because what's being brought up in the chat now, I see by Laura, is Dave Chappelle, because Dave Chappelle did his recent comedy special where he really slammed trans women. And he's also came out in support of TERFs. And it's really interesting because, like, I myself, even though I'm non-binary trans, I definitely a Dave Chappelle fan. But when I saw his last special, and I was like really excited for it, it's like whatever. Like I know his humor is very edgy and stuff like that, but I'm like I like that. But when I saw that, it really did seem a lot different than the kind of material he made in the early days, and I think a lot of it's due to like he's just really out of touch with today's generations, and it's like it came across as like old man yelling at clouds. So it's like I still love the Chappelle show and like Dave Chappelle like in his early days and stuff. I'm still gonna enjoy that material. And I'm still gonna watch like Harry Potter and stuff like that, like here and there. Like I'm
yeah.
not gonna be like, oh no, I can't even say the name. Like I can't do that because J.K. Rowling. Like it's just like going on from here forward. I don't think I'm going to be supporting the future content that these people make.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I'm not going to suddenly say I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I love the books and I thought the movies were really good. I'm not going to change that. I haven't read anything new that's come out. I don't have time, but Hi Elise. Um, but um, but still, if I did read it and I liked it, I would say I like it. Oh, hang on, I'm going to cough. I just don't evaluate the artwork or the piece of whatever it is that they do by whether or not I like the person. That's
Yeah,
you
there's a
know
big difference between idolizing the artist and just simply enjoying the artwork.
yeah, and also I don't believe in being influenced by an artist or like
Right.
their personal stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
you can you appreciate the art, but don't have to you don't have to idolize or do whatever the artist is doing just because you like what the work that they do. So anyway, we're
Yeah, where'd you like to
wow.
go from here?
Okay, we have not even gotten past the first thing. So there's the what TERFs their issue is that uh, things that are common are well if we have trans women, for example, what do we do with the sports in the sports area? Because these men are going to turn themselves into women, and then they're going to win all the awards. Like
Right,
that has
because by
been.
by physical definition, like avatars, if they have more testosterone, they're
Mhm.
somehow inherently better at sports, which honestly isn't true.
No,
There's
that's.
so many different factors and levels of like hormones in different people, whether they're cis or not.
Mhm.
And so it's like splitting hairs and then focusing on one tiny little split. Like automatically all trans women will be better at sports than cis women. That's so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
A
And
really good
there's so much science
a
to
really
back
good
up that that's not
example of
true.
that has been debunked, by the way, and we're talking
Oh
about a
yeah.
very tiny percentage of stuff too. It's like the disaster that some people, I mean, their agenda is not really about the thing that they're presenting. It's not
Oh,
really about the
trans
sports.
people are only like 2% of the population. Trust me. It's
Yeah.
like whatever you see on social media is blown up and trans people are made as out as a boogeyman.
Yeah, what's happening a lot, and it's so scary and unfortunate, and not just in the States, in England, and other places as well. Thank you so much, Michelle, by the way.
Oh,
Michelle
thank you.
superchatted
Yes.
and said
Thank you,
thanks.
Michelle.
Thank you very much. But
We appreciate that.
we'll get to this in a little bit, but the arguments, the strategies used against to get rid of or just to put down trans people to um, who are already marginalized, to deny them rights, to deny them healthcare and things. It's very fear based. It's
Yeah.
having groups of people, the anti-trans, the TERF people, uh, actually campaigning uh, huge fear mongered programs against trans people that aren't rooted in anything. It's simply they don't like trans people. The arguments um, are not valid. Um,
Oh, true. The comparison that I like to refer to the most is the comparison of people who in humanity who are left-handed. And the people who are left-handed, if you look throughout human history, it seems like there is a spike in left-handedness throughout human history, but it turns out there's not a new surge of left-handed people per se. It's just that it's suddenly more acceptable because it's no longer religiously condemned
mhm,
because left-handed people in religion were often punished because if you were left-handed, that was like the left hand, that was like the hand of the devil,
mhm.
and you would get slapped on the hand with a ruler by a nun
Oh
until you
yeah,
learned how to write right-handed. So it's
yeah.
the same thing with trans people. It's like there's this fear. It's like, oh, it's so scary. Suddenly everybody's being trans now. It's like, no, no, they're not. It's just suddenly it's acceptable.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I'm left-handed. Well, for writing
That's
anyway.
funny.
I never had that happen to me. I was fortunate. I, I think possibly in first grade, my teacher may have handed it to me in the right hand. I always ended up, it always ended up in the left hand, and it's not something you do consciously. You just pick up the thing and start writing, and it's whichever one is more comfortable.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, I'm going to just read a couple of points that I think are important. Um, the core claim is that trans women are really men and are therefore a threat to cisgender women's safety because they say all men are inherently oppressors. Um, and this completely invalidates transgender people. It doesn't allow for them to be able to have autonomy over themselves, over their gender expression. It's just
Well, what also intrigues me is why it also like intrinsically paints men as villains. What like why are men always meant to be this way?
yeah. Well, the radical feminist view is that um, all men are the system as it is oppresses women. And I mean, I Jesse Gender talks about this in their video, that yeah, she absolutely does want to get rid of the whole idea of gender, the whole idea of it being based on what you're born with. um, and if you're born with a penis, you get put in this category of, well, you have you
You
have
have a masculine role.
yeah, but also you have like the top position, and if
Yeah.
you're female, assigned female, then you're automatically put in that submissive position. It's lesser than.
Right.
And
So if you're assigned a boy at birth just because you have a penis, then you're automatically categorized in as the oppressor position.
yeah,
Whereas you're assigned female, or you're a female and a woman at birth or a girl at birth, according to that, then you're automatically assigned to the position of the oppressed.
yeah, and
So
keep
if this radical feminism automatically categorizes it in A to B, but not like as man to woman, it's like oppressor or oppressed.
and keep in mind that TERFs will say that they're not anti-trans because they're actually pro trans men, because they don't see trans men as men, they see them as women who are doing whatever they're doing. It's almost like, oh, they've been deceived somehow.
See,
And
that's what bugs me the most as somebody who's trans masculine is that now that it's like you're trans masculine, it's like, well, oh, now you're no longer a woman, so now you're suddenly sub woman because you're not exactly a man either.
well,
It's very
well,
weird.
the TERFs would look at you as you are a
Sub
woman.
woman.
No, you're a woman, and you've given over your,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
I'm a
your
delusional woman who
yeah,
just can't take the pressure and the heat of being a woman.
or
So I cling to masculine tendencies because that's what makes me feel more powerful or some
because you
bull
want, yeah, because you
garbage
want
like
power,
that.
you want to, and that's what happened with Elliot Page.
Power!
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was that's it doesn't make sense. A lot of this just doesn't make sense, and this is all because they just don't want to validate um, someone's gender, which is a societal construct. So
Right, because if you go more masculine, then it's just you're just dodging womanhood and you're taking the easy way out.
yeah, well, yeah, I don't know.
That's the message I get when these radical feminists are like, oh, you're just denying your womanhood and you're accepting a more masculine quality because you just can't take the heat, you can't handle the womanhood, so you're taking the easy way out and taking on the archetype and the personification of something more masculine and powerful just
Yeah,
because it's meant to be more powerful over women,
yeah,
which just it's so weird because like on the one hand they're fighting for women, but at the same time they're also admitting and accepting the reality that women are weaker, which I'm just so vehemently against that narrative at all.
oh well, I mean, yeah, that's another whole topic about the you know strength, women's strength. We could possibly extend this and do that again, work on that on a different time. But there's another point, and I'm going to read another quote because this is also, a core belief. And they believe that if anyone can become a woman, then the word woman means nothing. And therefore, apparently,
Oh,
trans people are out to destroy the entire concept of womanhood by their very existence. And, you know,
why does it
um,
go one way? Why is it we're not destroying manhood either?
I don't know. I don't
Why
know.
can't why is womanhood destroyable but manhood not?
Maybe,
Isn't that sus?
maybe because the male position is, you know, more is dominant, and the
That's
women's
the
one.
rhetoric they keep supporting is that males are dominant, females are not. But it's so weird because it's like, why are you trying to be a feminist and instill women's right and be equal to men when you're admitting that women are less powerful than men? Does that make sense? It's like they're totally going against what they're saying.
Well, I think it's also that women are because they're in the weaker position, they're like, we already have it hard. We don't want you coming in and fucking with our, our definition of and our world.
Yeah.
um, like how dare you come in here and where we have this safe women's space, and how dare you come in here possibly to do violence against us because you're actually a man. And that's another point, by the way, the whole bathroom quote, where is that? Uh oh, this is something that Rowling said. um When you throw open the doors of bathrooms and changing rooms to any man who believes or feels he's a woman, then you open the door to any and all men who wish to come inside. And this is crazy, because it's the idea that a man would go to all the trouble to do that, to change gender, change, just to commit this sexual assault on somebody, when it's already something they can do, and do go about, uh, without having to go through all that trouble.
That's
It
so
just seems
weird.
so, yeah, it just doesn't
It's
seem like good logic to say, oh well, now we're all in danger because someone's going to come into our bathroom, when all the stories you hear from trans women are just, can I just please come into a safe space so I can pee?
it just villainizes all trans women across the board. It turns them into a boogeyman, and it says like all trans women are perverts like men, and that's where the transphobicness is. It's assuming that these people were meant to begin with, and they're not. That's the whole point of being trans, is that they weren't men to begin with. They're
Yeah,
women, and they're changing to fit
and
that.
they, I think that's I think that point is that they just can't believe anybody would do this. That anybody, they can't empathize. They can't see that could be the case. That someone doesn't feel connected to the um, societal definition of what you're supposed to be. And you must be mentally ill, something must have happened to you. If we just fix those things, then you won't have a problem anymore.
Right.
Yeah, they just
If we
basically,
just condition you better, then it'll work.
yeah, they just flat out deny that this could be a thing, rather than listening to people who say, you know, no, this is absolutely how I feel. I do not identify with this other, or either, like in your case, non-binary. Neither one
Yeah.
is the perfect fit. Um, so, you know, um, I think that it that I guess we have to make this point that yes, in any group of people, there are going to be someone in there is going to be a terrible person and going to do something bad. So, so let's say I don't know if there have been any cases of a trans woman I haven't heard of one, but
Any cases there have been, it's always been cis men doing an experiment to pretend to be a trans woman and go and assault. That's literally it. It's literally just cis people being fucking crazy and out of their minds and gross, which is what my problem is about all this in general, is cis people having these weird fantasies about trans people going in and like uh SAing people and just antagonizing them in very uncomfortable, personal, intimate ways. It's like why does your brain go there? You're so weird. It reminds me of like QAnon people, where their brains go to those weird dark places of those dark fantasies of what like Democrats are doing, and high-end politicians and rich elite people are doing. It's like, why are you thinking that way? Like,
yeah.
what's wrong? And they go so quick to accuse like trans people of being like grotesque and out of their minds and perverted. And it's like, but you're the one having the weird
Yeah,
perverted accusations to begin with. So
right, right,
what's wrong with you, honey?
right. um yeah, well said. um I think I'm going to go with the no, there hasn't actually been any trans woman going into a bathroom and essaying, and I should have said that earlier, somebody. It's and yet it's the thing that people go to. It's like the it's running to the extreme. Hang on. It's always running to the worst case scenario, sort of like the well, if we allow gay marriage, the next thing you know, someone's going to want to get married to his pet horse. And it's like,
Oh,
where
yeah,
did you?
weird
How did you?
slippery slope
Where did?
stuff, yeah.
How did you? What? Oh, that's Philip. Hi, Philip. But
Philip!
it's like,
Good to see you,
how
Philip.
how did you go from two
That
humans
that's
being
what I
in
mean.
love and consenting to live together in a marriage where they both understand the term marriage and what it means, to one human and one animal of some kind that has no idea what marriage means.
Oh my
How
god.
did you get there? How did you do that? What was that jump?
Cis straight people will have the most craziest fucked up, like morbid, crazy schizophrenic thoughts and feelings, and then simultaneously accuse like LGBTQ plus people as like being insane, when it's just like literally we just want to like exist, and
Yeah.
our very existence pisses them off.
Oh,
What do you do about that?
yeah. I think that's why working harder now, because of the issues that are being raised, and this is why it matters. If things were moving ahead and they weren't having so much pushback against this from people who are scared and actually actively, and we'll get to that really soon because we're running out of time, but actively going to right wing conservative sources, allying with them against trans people,
Yeah.
simply to crush trans people. It's not even about promoting any kind of feminist women's rights issues, and it's really hi heretical response. Did we say hi to you? I don't know, but hello. um, and that I find also very disturbing. And I'm going to read a quote, and this is one of Jessie Gender's quotes, actually. Uh, in response to uh, like women's rights activists allying with, and I think what was the name of that? I think it's the Heritage Foundation, which is really not for women's rights, but actually allying with them um, against trans women.
Yeah, the
It doesn't
Heritage
it
Foundation is a
doesn't make
deep pool of
yeah, and it
cesspool.
it doesn't make sense. And so here's this quote which I thought was really good.
Sussy cess.
TERFs are more interested in attacking trans women than they are in actually helping women's causes. For TERFs, attacking a trans person was more important than general women's rights. It's all about attacking trans people. That's their first and foremost goal. It is their expressed goal. And that's disturbing, right? Because you're no longer working toward women's rights. You are
Look,
now spending your time simply attacking trans women.
I'm gonna back this up because I agree to this, and I'm gonna back this up, and I want all the kids on sitting on the floor. I don't mean to like make you all seem like your children, but it's like I imagine like I'm like the kindergarten teacher, and you're all like sitting on the rug and stuff. So it's like children scooch closer. Like, look, there's a lot of leftist movements out there, or even just like movements that feel they're above and beyond leftism, they're above and beyond everything. And what they'll do is they'll attack a lot of leftist movements because they're so anti right and progressive and all this stuff. And they'll attack them first because it's easier than attacking the systems that they're actually against, because the systems that they're actually against, including these trans-exclusionary radical feminists, because it's like it's so hard to deal with feminism, so it's easier to attack the trans women because they're so small, right? It's easier to do this than it is to attack uh, what they are really mad at, what they're really against, because they feel powerless, because they, in a way, are powerless. So they're just trying to gain a little bit of power. And this is the part where I always rant and rave about the importance of doing shadow work, because if you try to access your power self, if you try to be a powerful person, interact with your power self and integrate that before doing your shadow work and addressing where the areas in your life you're feeling like most insecure about, this, that, and the other, and before you get secure about that emotionally, like if you try to integrate your power self, you're going to become an asshole, you're going to become a TERF, you're going to become one of those leftist movements that are against other leftist people, which also are against trans people, or you're going to become something that tries to make yourself be above and beyond everything, and you're like, I'm the king, I'm the god, and listen to me and I'm right, and if you're not interested in me, then you're interested in nonsense. Like, you're going to be an ass.
Everybody scooched forward for you. That was good. Yeah,
Yeah.
hurt people, and haters hate themselves. Were some of the comments, and somebody new came in.
Yep.
Um, who was that? I just saw the Mac Geek. Good evening. I'm enjoying the discussion. Great points. Welcome to our live stream. Um, please. Oops, I just lost us. Let's have to stop clicking. Yeah, welcome, and please like our stream if you
Yes,
haven't
everybody who
already.
just came in, like the stuff, do all the YouTube stuff,
Do the
where you
stuff.
like it, you share it,
Oh,
you
you've been
subscribe.
listening for many live streams, and you don't. I am glad you're chatting. Yeah, I hope people don't be afraid to chat. We're nice. We're nice people.
Oh, please chat, even if you're just saying hi, hello, and
Yeah,
I'm having
yeah,
a piece of cheese. Like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
love it.
Say hi. And our community is really nice and very supportive, and we're a very close community. So please join in.
Yeah.
Um, Hi, Zero. So, okay, okay, we have to hurry. Um, so,
Yes.
because we have other points to make.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there anything you want to ask me, or?
um, uh, I wanted to know because we were talking about the whole bathroom thing, and
Mm-hmm.
but there was something when you were talking earlier. Hold the thought about the bathroom thing because I am very interested in knowing how do you approach this? How do you feel? What do you do? And just hang on to that for a second because we were talking about the whole sports thing earlier, and this was something I
Right.
found very interesting. Somebody I follow on Instagram, which I'm rarely on these days. I don't have time, but uh, their name is Rain Dove. They're one of the first people I ever discovered who really talked about interesting things. Rain Dove was born in signed assigned female, and I don't know. They only identify as they, so that's all I'm going to say. But they appear very masculine. And
I'm like
are,
aesthetically familiar, but not like
do you
more
know the
personally
account I'm
familiar.
talking about?
Yeah, no, I know what
Because
they look like. Yeah.
yeah, because they can model, and they have modeled very tall and
They
statuesque.
can almost like pass as a cis male.
They can
Like they're
absolutely,
very masculine, and then they can also
absolutely.
pass as a very
Well,
like handsome woman.
very yeah. The issue is that they have is that because they often are mistaked, they do very interesting experiments where they walk down a street dressed, appearing as a man and then appearing as a
Hmm.
woman. And it's like
Yeah.
perceptionally, how do people respond to them? They have some very interesting uh, dialogues about that. I always found that
Well,
really,
I mean, society has like pre-programmed social cues
yeah,
that they look at and
yeah,
experience, and they're like, this
yeah.
is either man or woman, but we have yet to develop the social cues to be like, oh, this could be something else.
Well, in the case of Rain Dove, what makes it, they're in a very interesting position where they can pull off either one. Not
Yeah,
many people can do that. And so you get a really good view of how people respond when you look like this and are wearing this, how
yeah.
people respond when you look like this and you're wearing that, and it's really interesting. I'm sure they have other accounts, but I know on Instagram it's Rain, Rain Dove, Dov. I haven't seen rarely anything recently, but I do remember something that was very interesting. uh, they played on a women's sports game. I think it was soccer or something. And I only saw this one post. I had missed previous ones where they may have been talking about it. But I saw the one where it was after it was over, this event. And I figured out that it had been announced beforehand to spectators that there would be a trans woman playing on the field. And
Okay.
so in this post, Rain Dove reads a letter, a note they received after it was over by someone who said, while I like you a lot or whatever, and I appreciate that you want to play sports, I really think that it's not fair to the female players, the girl players, for
Hmm.
you to be playing on the team. And what was interesting was Rain Dove's response, which is, I'm not the trans woman on the team.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
the spectator who wrote that note assumed, based on the way Rain Dove looks, that
Looks.
they must be the person. It was announced that there was a trans person playing. That person who wrote the note targeted Rain Dove because Rain Dove had to be the one. But the person who wrote the note could not actually identify the real trans woman. And I thought that was really interesting. You could find it. I don't know how long ago it was, but it was worth watching. Anyway, back to you in bathrooms. How do you handle that, Jan? Like, what goes through your head? How do you have
It's
nervousness? What do you do?
so funny because automatically, because I feel like I'm a little bit more feminine passing, I just automatically go into the women's bathroom. Also, the women's bathroom tends to be more clean. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, ultimately, let's just say this across the board. Whatever bathroom's cleanest is the bathroom I go into. But there have been incidences where I just go into men's bathroom, and a funny peculiar thing is like I'll always run into this instance where like I need to pee and I'll be at a gas station or something and like there'll be a line to the women's room and like no line at all to the men's bathroom. Now, according to the state of California, I'm non-binary. Like it's on like if anybody like ID'd me, it's like I say I'm non-binary. So if they tried to harass me going into a bathroom, being like, no, you can't go in the men's or no, you can't go into a women's bathroom. And if they try to identify me as one or the other, I mean, like, it's not going to show up on my ID card. So it's like, I don't know what they're going to do in that instance. But like, I've had the instances where it's like, I want to just like go into the men's bathroom because there's too much of a line in the women's bathroom and I really have to pee. And my bladder does not give two shits about what toilet I'm peeing in.
Can I
Like it
ask?
just wants to go
Can I
and I want to
ask
go.
what? Because you have non-binary
Yeah.
on your um, driver's license. What does that mean? Can you legally? I mean, I don't know if this is a
That's what
legal
I
thing.
wonder.
Can you
I don't know
legally
if
use
that
either
means I
one?
can go in either one.
Can you
Nobody's
imagine?
ever like
Can you imagine people saying, "I want to be non-binary because I can go into either bathroom"? You know, like,
yeah, that doesn't make sense. I don't know.
yeah.
And
But
and
what are you
it's
supposed to do? Like,
I,
you can.
yeah. I don't know. I live in a really just kind of like a small city, so it's very like woodsy. So I mean that the situations I get into where I have to choose between bathrooms is either in like a remote gas station or like a park bathroom where it's like there's hardly any people around anyways. Um I don't know. Yeah, it's still something I'm exploring. It's really weird to navigate reality when it's so binary, and I don't feel like I fit into either one, even
Yeah.
though I do say I'm more masculine. It's like I still don't get some things like the bathroom situation.
I wonder
Like
what.
if I go into a men's bathroom and like the wrong douchebag guy walks in there, like am I gonna get like beat up and punched up just because I look too effeminate? You know, because like guys do that to other cis guys too that look too effeminate or whatnot.
Yeah. I don't understand all the violence and stuff just with people wanting to pee in peace. You know, I
Oh
don't
my
know.
god! Yeah, can I just pee, please?
Um, I wonder what it. I don't know what it's like in all the states. Must be different each state. Um,
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I
I haven't
mean,
looked into that, but I can imagine because I know I've seen Rain Dove talking about it. That's got to be really uncomfortable, you know, because if they go into the women's bathroom, I think they get a lot of, bad looks. And technically, that's the bathroom that they would go into. Um,
you know, cis women who identify as like lesbian butch women often get penalized for issues like that too. They'll go into women's bathroom, not even being trans or anything, and just
right.
being like having more masculine cues, and people will be like, "Excuse me, sir, can I see your ID card?"
Oh,
And they'll get
wow.
harassed for just like, and they're like, "I'm a woman. What do you mean?" So it's like it's this weird nuance area where it's like you can't really penalize or try to like target everybody for committing a crime if they don't look masculine enough or feminine enough to go in either bathroom because
God, this whole thing.
you really don't know because there's so much nuance between genders anyways. There's so much
Yeah.
nuance between what is masculine, there's so much nuance between what is like feminine and not. So it's like it's just so weird to suddenly start drawing lines at trans people and non-binary people when it's like there never really was lines to begin with.
It's a very, God, it's such a weird, the whole thing is just weird now to me. People just want to
Yeah,
go to the bathroom. Why is this so complicated?
I know, and the thing is, it's not like trans people are unaware of their sex organs. Like we know about biology, like, and that's where the misconception is a lot of the times. You just don't know what parts you have. It's like, no, that's the
Yeah.
problem. I know very vehemently what parts I have and how they affect my quality of life and experiencing reality, and that's why I'm not purposefully rebelling against it. It's just like I don't fit into this. I've tried so hard throughout my life to play the role of a woman, and it's a job role that I can kind of play well. I can play it well, but I'm not happy as that. And I just the being invisible to what like is true to myself, to what I really am, like having to be invisible just because I can play the woman role well, is severely depressing. And I don't want to have to do that.
Yeah. Kim made a comment. Should there be like a neutral bathroom for people who don't care one way or another? I was thinking about that. Um, I think that the immediate fear people have is because they always go to the worst case scenario, which is the minority, the few people who are gross people who are going to do something awful. They're going to try to look through stalls and stuff, whereas the majority of people would be respectful. We're respectful of other people, I think, naturally. The
It's sad.
majority of people.
It makes me sad because it makes me wonder when in my journey of becoming more masculine visually, is there a point where I am no longer accepted in women's spaces? Because that's kind of a thought that makes me sad, and I would never try to argue and put my foot down and be like, no, I have to stay in women's spaces because I've earned my right there. Like I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't pressure any woman to feel uncomfortable, but at the same time it's like it's kind of sad. It's like at what point am I seen as no longer safe for women in women's spaces? Like what is it about masculinity that suddenly like makes us unsafe, you know? So it's a weird nuance
Yeah.
thing that does raise a lot of questions.
But you're non-binary. You're not identifying as a man, right?
No, but I'm not a woman either,
No,
so
you're non-binary.
so I
So
wouldn't qualify for women's spaces if I'm, you know, more trans masculine and masculine appearing.
that would be really sad.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
Yeah.
at one point, like how masculine do I get before it's like unacceptable to be accepted in women's spaces, or not even that. Honestly, that's not the right way of thinking. Let me correct that. At what point, how masculine do I get at what level to where I am viewed as something as a danger or a threat?
Interesting. Yeah, you could talk about that. You could explore that topic because that's got to be something that you do think about. Um,
Yeah. And why
Hi.
are we, yeah, why do we have a society that's like structuring men to be dangerous? That's kind of weird too. It's like everybody's admitting that, but nobody's like trying to identify and deal with that issue of like men supposedly, like men are predatory and dangerous, like in some ways, but you know, it's like,
I really
why does
don't.
it have to be that way?
I really don't like that very black and white thing. I really
Yeah.
don't. Because I know that there are a lot of men who absolutely do not uh, adhere to that. They're not the whatever his name, Andrew Tate
Yeah.
kind of people.
The Andrew Tate kind of people, exactly.
Hi, the blackjack. Um, oh, Perry, this is extremely eye opening. Yeah, there's a lot of velvet too. Thank you for the
Well, one
sticker.
thing that Jesse Gender says a lot that I appreciate is when you're dealing with the subjective identities that you have within the holos, because you know ultimately we're all monads, we're all minds, but when you
Mm-hmm.
have these other identities, it's like you have to realize that nuance is a thing
Mm-hmm.
because it is subjectivity. Objectively, we are minds and we have no gender at the very core of our existence.
And I was just going to get to that to sort of bring us back out from the details. Um, you know, yeah, as Hyperions, we know that ultimately we're minds and we're having temporary experiences that we aren't men, women, masculine, feminine. This is a temporary experience, and we've had many, many, and will continue to have many, many. Um, and you're not always the same thing.
Yeah.
There's many experiences we can have, and what we're doing is simply having these experiences because as you think of the collective, the one, that's what we want. We want to have all these, we other ourselves to have these experiences. If we were all just doing the same thing, it would be super boring. Why would we be doing that?
Yeah.
This gives us the chance to experience a myriad of different lives. And I know that we're already over time, but I want to say just a couple more things real quick, and Jan, then I'll let you wrap things up. But
Yeah.
um, I also wanted to point out, besides just that we, don't ever forget that this is a temporary experience, that we're here to grow and learn and experience each other, but also, especially in connection with these kinds of topics, that everyone, yes, I will do the quokka, everyone deserves dignity.
Yes.
Everyone deserves that. Now, okay, this disclaimer statement that you know I I I, I don't want to go down that road where there's always someone who's a really terrible person, and we shouldn't be encouraging them, and we should be controlling. What if they're trying to do something crazy and horrible in the world? Okay, forget those people. We're not talking about those few absolute psycho people. I'm talking about decent people just trying to, get through life. And one of the things, in order to create the world that we want to create, we absolutely have to afford the dignity to everybody. If we're not willing to do that, we are like, what are we doing? What are we doing this for? We're
Right.
never going to get there. And so when you encounter people who are different from you are, express themselves differently, if you can't afford them the respect to be who they are, um, we are not going to be able to unite and create a better world. That's just never going to happen. What we should also do is, besides the three YouTubers that we both really like, and thank you for telling me about Jessie Gender, because that wasn't somebody I knew about.
Yeah, I just want to say one last note on our uh, theme tonight is just that we're in Hyperianism. We say we're all trying to reach the teleological end, like the final cause. But why would we wouldn't be trying to reach that if we didn't already have the differences? You know what I mean? It's like we're meant to have experience these differences, so then we can start bringing it all together. So that was like the last little bit I wanted to say.
Um, Good point. And I also want to say once more, I always say this when we're on this kind of a topic, um, that there are a couple people on Instagram, Miranda was one of them, but the two other people who I really look to as wonderful examples of people being true to themselves and living living their internal self, um, uh, in an outward way. Like they're putting their inside out to the world to show who they are, and they do it in such a beautiful way, being true to themselves. And that's Jeffrey Marsh and
Oh, I
Alok.
love just Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Marsh
Marsh, yeah,
so
and
much.
wonderful
Oh,
examples of. And this is kind of what I'm envisioning, who I'm thinking about when I'm talking about people who just want to be themselves, and without being attacked, without having hateful speech thrown at them all the time.
mhm.
And they are really wonderful people, very intelligent, very caring, very non-dangerous, not grooming anybody to be anything other than what they want to
Oh no,
be.
that's so bullshit.
It
Oh
is
my
so
God.
bullshit.
Oh,
And Elise, yeah, love Jeffrey Marsh and Alok as well, Alok, and I think it's Menon, Menon, I think. If not, hit me up later. I'll tell you who. Message me or something, and I'll tell you who that is. Or look on my Instagram who I follow. Um, and then we're just going to end this with, where we can go in the future, where we're heading. And
yes.
we have the choice where, we could simply conform. We could simply try to be some sort of homogenous group where nobody really expresses themselves, how what they have inside. And again, think of someone like Jeffrey Marsh. And of course, you're not expected to be like Jeffrey. Jeffrey is like Jeffrey. I'm talking, you be who you are.
Right.
Not Don't mimic Jeffrey. That's not at all what I'm saying. But this this idea of kind of everybody keep holding back who you are in order to, hey, Morg, thank you so much.
Mark, thank you so much.
and
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 Imaginista
and
too.
Elise, thank you so much.
Elise.
I know we're just wrapping. I'm glad you guys came in. I don't know if you've been here the whole time or whatever, but I just
Yeah.
want to finish up this thought, because the the this very sort of bland, homogenous. Oh, hi, JJP. Um, where you're just all kind of uniform and the same, and you don't show the world who you are, because that would be wrong somehow. But then there's this other there's this other uh, vision. And I'm just going to take you through it because it's something I think about and I love thinking about it. And I won't be here in this lifetime for this. But imagine being born. You're just this infant. And as you get as you grow, you're a year or whatever, you find yourself in a world where everybody is expressing themselves as who they are, but also nobody is judging them. No one is condemning them for it. They just are who they are, and you see that. And because of that, you then realize that nothing is stopping you from being who you are. And you can play with the toys you want to play with. You can read the books you want to read. You can make art the way you want to and read the books you want to read and learn what you want to do. And there's nothing that is preconceived. I missed Kim's super chat, Cassidy. I'm so sorry. Oh no, Kim, you said thank you for a great stream, and I really appreciate that. And I love seeing those member things. Please put those through. Thank you so much. And Laura also put one through. But I just want to finish my thought. Imagine that you just, there's no gender put on you. There's no expectations put on you to be anything other than having all opportunities given to you, like put in front of you. Are you interested in this? Or, you seem to like this. Can we develop that? Can we help you with that? And give those opportunities. And the child grows and, gets older and does more of that. And then sees that is what all of society is doing. And that world, to me, is what we are building, what we are trying to bring about. That is a colorful, creative, wonderful, imaginative world of all sorts of opportunity, of living and being what you want to be and expressing yourself how you want to be. And remember, that comes with not having to like everything that everyone else is. How could you possibly do that? You can't possibly like everything. And that's okay, because that just wouldn't be you. But the fact is, you can give others that dignity, that respect of being who they are without condemning them, because you are allowed to be who you are with no one condemning you. That is the end of my thing. Thank you. Hyperion Frequency said, I feel like Susan and Jan are a good combo. I always enjoy talking to Jan. I think we do a good job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm just, that was really good. Yeah, I'm just starting to drop links. So I got first Philosophy Tube and specifically a video on social constructs. And now I'm going to drop a video by ContraPoints, and specifically on trans-trenders, quote unquote. That'll give you a good insight on binary trans people versus non-binary trans people.
And ContraPoints has I think it was 3 years ago, the really good one on TERFs. If you're interested, you can find that.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna drop the one right now from Jessie Gender.
For Jessie Gender, yeah,
on TERFs.
Perfect. So there's the quokka for Cassidy. I did not forget. And yeah, and then the people on Instagram was Rain Dove, Jeffrey Marsh, and Alok, and it's ALOK, and I think it's Menon. And those are some great people to watch. I also have some ones on TikTok who I really, really like, and I'll maybe not just having to do with trans, but really, really good accounts that I learn a lot from. I thought TikTok was just kids doing stupid things, and then I really didn't want to go on, but when I found there is fantastic resources for good knowledge, then I became a much bigger fan of TikTok.
Yes, yeah, you got to find your own
quality stuff.
Niche. You got to find your own niche.
And when you find the algorithm catches on to what you like, It gives you
Mm-hmm.
more of that, and you can
Mm-hmm.
completely escape from the stupid shit. You don't have to get stuck in the
Oh
kids
yeah, no,
doing,
there's very rational young
yeah,
kids out there who deliver things that are just exceptionally
they're not even
well
kids.
thought out.
They're
Yeah.
not, I don't,
So,
there's a lot of people I
yeah.
follow who aren't just young kids, trust me.
Well,
And
no, there's adults, but I do see like young children who are just like very exceptionally like
really?
rational. I'm just like,
Oh,
wow.
oh, that's good to
Yeah.
know. That's
Yeah,
good to know.
there's some Zoomers out there with with hope. Come on.
Real
They're out
okay,
there.
okay. Everybody's young compared to me. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
anyway, thank you, Paul. And I saw some really nice comments, Nevea and Elise and Laura, thank you.
Yeah.
Jeannie, Kim, thank you guys. Thank you for coming out. And yeah, I knew we would go over because this was such a big one.
A big juicy topic, yeah.
Yeah, this means a lot to us. Just remember what we're trying to do here. What we're trying to do is remember who we are at all times, why we're here, and the future that we are trying to create. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean we're monads, but we're here to participate in the holo. So you have to have some personality and persona. Like at base, absolutely realize you're a monad, but you can have a personality. Like
you
you can
have
have
yeah, we have our
secondary
ego.
and third identities. Like you
Yeah,
can have that. You just have to let reason be at the head of all of that. So,
absolutely. Keep that always at the top of what you're doing. Thanks, Kim.
yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Nevaeh.
you,
Thank you, Michelle.
Velveteers.
I'm really really glad that
Yeah,
this is a great community. So we're gonna end the stream because we have a meeting in a little while,
we do.
and we're also super busy doing videos. The first math video is
We
coming
are.
out, if not
Ugh.
tomorrow, or tonight, or something very
Hopefully
very.
tonight.
Hopefully tonight. Yeah, I mean, I think it just finished rendering, and hopefully I'll be posting that very
Mm-hmm.
very soon.
Yes.
And next week, Philip will be with us, and we will be and hopefully Jewel, and we'll be
Yes.
talking about whole. And
Yes. And thank you to Philip and Jewel for moderating tonight.
oh yeah, thank you, Joel. And Philip also was in. Laura, I just turned 61, so okay, yeah, we're we're there. We're close. We're close. Fuck yeah, math vid, Joel. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Yeah,
Tonight
we have a meeting
or
very
tomorrow.
soon, so you guys don't go away. But I mean,
All right.
yeah, in a little bit. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.